So, hello guys. Here we are. My story, very normal people. Today we have a guest from New York. She is a writer, but she wrote about a journey which is about 13 years and she will tell herself. And today we have Jenifer Benson. Welcome Jennifer.
Hi, thank you for having me on your show. I'm very happy.
So it's a pleasure to have somebody who wrote about her life in a book.
Thank you.
Because it's different when people write about other stories, and it's different when they write about their story. It's quite different. That's what I've understood. So, please, can you tell us how did that journey started in your life?
Yeah, I would love to. Well, it started with my sister going overseas to the Middle East, to Kuwait. She went to a job fair in Washington D.C., and then she was over there for a few months and loved it. Sent pictures home, and those pictures were just amazing of some of the places she was traveling to. And something, I think, sparked something in myself because my life at the time, I was in a long term relationship with a college boyfriend of 10 years and it didn't seem to be going anywhere. I was in a job that was very stressful and I wasn't even quite sure if I wanted to continue with it. It was a teaching
Mhm.
job and I, um, I just wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I felt like, okay, at 30 years old, I felt quite stuck and that
Okay.
life wasn't really fulfilling. And I questioned whether this was the right path for me.
Mhm.
So when my sister called me one night and said there was a job opening for the following school year, I was excited about it. And I wondered if this would be a better move for me. So I
Mhm.
asked the universe for some signs. I sent in my resume to the director of the school and I got a job. And but then I still was kind of a little bit wondering if I should quit my job in New York and quit the relationship for the boyfriend. So I asked the universe for more signs, and something told me to ask the school for a year leave
Okay.
so I could try to experience this
Mhm.
because the contract was for 1 year, and I thought, well, this would be perfect if I could ask my school in New York to give me 1 year leave, and then I would have my job to return to afterwards. So I asked, and I'm not very good usually asking for what I want, and it was hard for me, but I went in there and asked my principal for a year leave, and she said yes. So, and the school board also had to say yes as well. So, yeah, everything was put into motion. And like I said, in my body, I felt very excited about this decision.
Mhm.
And of course, the boyfriend and we had to break up. But that was actually good because he found a great job in Boston and he ended up moving out there. And I think he's still out there. So, it all worked out. That's kind of how I looked at it. I looked at it as a great opportunity. The universe gave me signs, and I went
Mhm.
for it.
So there is no regrets, is there, right?
No, I really missed it. I love being home, but I'm so honored for that time overseas because it really broadened my perspective about what else is out there in the world,
Mhm.
about different religions, different cultures,
Mhm.
meeting different people from all around the world that have a different opinion and different view than I have. And
Mhm.
it just really opened my mind a lot. And being an American, being able to get out of the country and to see what else is going on in the world, I found it so valuable
Mhm.
and to be able to share that knowledge with my family back home and pictures and just so grateful for having that trip because or that experience and all those trips because it really changed me as a person. It really
Mhm.
did.
Okay, I have a question for you. What was the first impression, let's say the good impression that you had when you went there?
My best impression of it was I think it was just the uniqueness and how different everything was. When
Mhm.
I walked into my classroom and I think our school at the time in Kuwait, it was an international school
Mhm.
and we had kids that represented over 25 countries. So very different than the kids that I had back home in New York, in upstate New York. We have where I live in upstate New York, we have one stoplight. So it's very small. It's just getting out of my part of the world and to be able to have a classroom of kids from all those different countries. I loved it. And being able to go to a market that sold Iranian carpets, or being able to go to a market where they had like 50 tailors that could tailor your clothes for you and you could buy material, or just meeting people from around the world that worked at our school, and having those people become like family to you. I loved it, and
Mhm.
even though the culture was different, the religion was different,
Mhm.
it was enjoyable to see those differences. Yeah, because every day became like an adventure. I wonder what's going to happen today.
Okay.
So I like that kind of feeling. It was really, it's just very educational, I guess.
Mm. So usually, people are friendly there, especially with the foreigners. That is what I've noticed because I have friends as well
Yeah,
from Middle East, and but they're very friendly with the foreigners. Uh, did you have the same these kind of feelings? Friendly, they were open. Yeah, you had these kind
yeah.
of.
I found Kuwait to be more so. I was also in Qatar. I found Kuwait to be, they're both very welcoming and very, I found them to be very friendly, especially the kids' parents that I
Mhm.
worked with. Once the parents got to know you, they would invite you over for birthday parties
Right.
and like yeah, for weddings and the family. Once you got to know them, and they were very opening and very um, kind to you.
Mhm.
And I found actually Kuwait to be even more friendly than I did Qatar, but they were both great.
Mhm.
And I really enjoyed. I went and tutored some of the kids in their houses, so I got to meet their parents, and yeah, they were just great, happy times. So yeah, they were very friendly. And I mean, I stayed over there for 13 years, so
Mhm.
I think that kind of proves that I was quite happy for the longest time. And I think the biggest thing that drove me home was just my parents were getting older in their
Mm.
70s. And I
Yeah.
miss nature. There's a different type of nature back here. I think
Mhm.
I just miss the pine trees and
Mhm.
celebrating the holidays with family. I think that was the push to come home more. Yeah, but I love my time in the Middle East. I
Mm.
loved it.
Uh, uh, do you drink coffee?
I didn't until I went over there, and then I started drinking
That is the next
Turkish
question. What kind of
coffee.
coffee did you drink there?
Yeah, Turkish coffee, like
Turkish coffee.
Ethiopian coffee over there. Like, and then I went to Turkey as well, and I'm like, this is real coffee. And Italy too. When I went to Italy, I found that as well. But once you get a taste for things outside your country, you become a coffee snob or a chocolate snob. I remember going to Switzerland and I had chocolate Switzerland, and I was
Oh,
like,
come on.
oh, this is what I've been
Come on, don't go
missing.
up there about chocolates now. It's Switzerland and also Belgium. Come on. Oh, it's
Yeah,
yummy now.
yeah,
Come on. It's not the time now. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of things that I love there,
Mm.
though. Yeah.
What about the food? Did you have difficulties with the taste or anything that was like, was too much or maybe too little?
No, I didn't. You know what? They had all the same fast food restaurants over there
Ah,
in the
okay.
Middle East, and not that I like fast food. And they have all the restaurants like, Applebee's and Chili's and all the American chains. But
Hmm.
what I really liked over there was the differences, and I liked those. They had more Lebanese restaurants. They
Hmm.
had more even Japanese. They had more Indian. I never had Indian food until I went over to the Middle East. And I loved it. And even now, I always look for a good Indian restaurant. And they're few and far between. But if I go to the college towns around me, I can usually find one. But it just opened the door up to a whole new world with food, and even I went to Greece,
Hmm.
and I've been there, and I love the food in Greece and Europe in general. So it's just having that variety, being able to travel to different countries and
Hmm.
have their food. I mean, the food's always been the highlight of a lot of my trips, actually. Being able to have that good quality and the variety of food like baklava and like
Oh.
the desserts and the bread in France and the cheese, and I mean there's just so many things that I was grateful for on my
Mm.
travels. So
Mhm.
you just have that, you have those memories.
Mm. Of course, you have tried the sherbet. Sherbet, how they say that? Sherbet, sherbet, sherbet. When
Sherbet.
they go to mosque, the hot water with sugar or
Oh,
sherbet,
I'm not sure what
sharbat,
that is.
something like that. Anyway,
There's an ice cream called sherbet that we have over here, sherbet.
yeah, sherbet. Yeah,
I
that's the
think
one. I think. Yeah, that.
it's like a
Yeah,
waffle
I
cone.
cannot say it.
Oh, that's okay. It's like a fruity ice cream. Yeah, it's made more with fruit and yeah, less no milk. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about what was your favorite place there to go? Maybe for weekend, or where did you spend your weekend? Let's say when you were there.
Well, I made a couple weekend trips. I went to Dubai and I've been to Bahrain,
Hmm.
and I like that. And then we would have an extended weekend, maybe like a 4-day holiday weekend. And I remember going to Jordan, and I really loved Jordan. There was a lot of really neat trips with Petra and the desert and stuff like that. I did like that.
Hmm.
And quick trips like that. I think those were like the main ones. Anything longer than a week, my teachers always seem to go to Thailand or to Europe or yeah, Thailand seemed to be a little bit cheaper, but that's kind of where teachers travel to. A lot of that, yeah, yeah.
Okay. What was the one of the things that you missed when you were there from New York? Apart from the
Oh,
pine trees and apart from that, something else that you missed.
I do miss. I don't know. I think I just miss. I do miss teaching over there. I do miss the kids over there, and I miss just the daily life over there. Being able to get up and go to work and listen to my kids and teach the kids over there, and then going out and picking some different restaurant that you've never been to before and trying it out and having that variety. And
Hmm.
I think I just miss also there's teachers coming in every year, teachers leaving.
Hmm.
I think that I found that very hard, but it was always nice to meet new
New
teachers
people.
every year because
Hmm.
teachers usually travel on 2-year contracts. So that was a hard thing. Like I said, teachers leaving all the time. But then, like I said, it's so easy to meet new people, and
Hmm.
you meet teachers from other schools in the same country. So it's just all the meeting people all the time and having them become like family. And I
Right.
think it's a challenge when you come back here because when you're back in now that I'm back in New York, I don't even know if I'll ever see those people again. So
Mm.
I miss them, but I really had wonderful time getting to know people from all around the world. It was just such a blessing. Yeah.
Um, and of course, you have pointed out everything on your book about that, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Just a lot of the different relationships, a little bit more specific about certain specific people.
Hmm.
But yeah, yeah, just having those memories of those people. I traveled with some of them. I traveled with two other ladies to Turkey and to Thailand and Cambodia. So those trips are in there. Those were interesting. So yeah, those were great trips and just having those memories. You stay in touch with them on Facebook and
Hmm.
stuff, but it's not the same.
It's not the
Yeah,
same, right? Yeah, I understand.
yeah,
So, when you went to Kuwait, you were single, right, at that time?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
because you broke up. So, and you found somebody else. If you didn't find
yeah.
him, will you think that it'll be easy for you to find a native guy from? Was it in your schedule at all?
That's a really good question. I never expected it in a million years, which is probably why I hesitated on breaking up with my boyfriend from New York. I thought,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to be single for a year and then I'll come back home and maybe it'll work out with a boyfriend down the road. But I went over there for a year.
Mhm.
I think, that first year I was on my own, but then I decided to go back. And then once I went back, it was kind of an interesting thing. My sister came back home to New York. She moved home,
Mhm.
and then the guy that took her place as a French teacher, he and I started dating.
Okay.
And then it's just amazing how life works. And then I ended up marrying him. Yeah. So it's just amazing. Like he took his name was David. He took over my sister's place and as a middle school French teacher, and then we ended up dating, and then 3 years later we ended up getting married. So yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it is. Life is crazy. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
you have tried a lot in life. No, you didn't change just your country, but you changed your boyfriend. You changed many things, right?
yeah, I did. I really shook it up in life.
Yeah. Upside down, we say, yeah, right? Or when you
Yeah,
take the clothes on the other side, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So life is amazing, yeah. But for you, it has been good because for other people it hasn't
Right.
been for sure. Yeah, and we see it every day. But that you, I cannot say that you're lucky, but you're smart to enjoy your life. That's a good one. So, can you please tell us something that maybe we didn't cover it? That you write in your book about the Middle East, or something that you really
Okay.
like to talk about.
Well, I think the one biggest thing too is that it taught me. I think it's just for anybody listening. I think it could be applied to anybody, but just about taking a leap in life and taking a risk, asking for signs,
Mhm.
listening for the signs, waiting to see the signs. Um, that happened to me quite a few times, and there was a lot of situations over in my time overseas
Mhm.
that made me realize that I can handle pretty much anything that came at me in life. I overcame the tsunami. David and I were on the beach, and the
Mhm.
tsunami came in, and a dive instructor happened to see it. She came out of her dive shop and told everybody to run. I mean, all of us were down on the beach taking pictures. We had no idea there was a tsunami
Tsunami.
coming.
Mm.
We didn't know it was a tsunami. She was the only one that knew. So this lady came out of her dive shop. But even after that, we ran for higher ground. I learned, you know what? I think I'm going to handle pretty much anything that life throws at me. And I think that in times it's good to take those chances and leaps in life, just like me taking that chance to go
Mhm.
travel. And I paid off my college loans overseas. I saved
Mhm.
up money to put on a down payment for a house. There was
Mhm.
a lot of good that came from it. So if I didn't take
Right.
those chances, I think life would have been very different, and I would have been different. My personality would
Mhm.
have been different. So and then after 13 years, I call it my inner ding, that inner voice that comes into your mind where, okay, I think it's time to come home. And the saddest thing about it all was is that it was the worst decision or the hardest decision in my life, but it was
Too.
the best decision. So
Mhm.
ultimately, my husband and I decided to part ways. He stayed overseas.
Mhm.
I ended up having to come home by myself, and I thought I made a huge mistake, but I didn't.
Mhm.
And I've never been happier, and unfortunately, I wish things could have worked out with David, but he's happy. He's in the
Mhm.
Philippines. He's got a house. He's happy over there. And I think
Mhm.
it just worked out well for both of us.
Mhm.
Um, but I think it's all about listening to yourself and what you want, giving
Right.
yourself permission to take a chance in life and
Mhm.
to find what makes you happy and
Happier.
excited. So I think that could be not just for traveling, but for any big decision,
Right.
any big thing that you're interested in, curious about.
Mhm.
So it seems to pay off.
Mhm. Understand that. Okay. So, uh, Jennifer, I just wanted to ask you the last question that I prefer to ask my guests. Uh, what is your motto in your life? Something that drives you every morning?
I think the biggest thing I've heard something lately, and I love it. There is, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I really believe in it. There's no substitute for hard work. And the reason why I say that like motto, I say it because I have these areas in my life that I put all my energy into, whether it be my book, whether
Mhm.
it be my relationships with family, whether it be my friendships, working out at the gym, um, you know, meditating, being out in nature. I
Mhm.
call them my squares.
Mhm.
But I have all my squares. There's about 9 of them. But every week I put my energy and my time and my
Mhm.
goals into those squares. So it takes a lot of work, but
To-
it's really good work. There's no satisfaction better like when I walk out of the gym or
Mhm.
when I'm taking a walk out in nature or when I just finish lunch with a girlfriend.
I see.
But it takes work for all those things. I have to call up the friends. I
Mhm.
have to make the time to
Make time,
get
yeah.
dressed and go out to
Mhm.
put my snow clothes on and go out and walk in nature, or to get into the car and drive to the gym,
Mhm.
or to set my timer and say, okay, you're going to work for 1 hour on writing
Mhm.
your book. But there's no better feeling at the end of the day
Mhm.
than knowing that I'm contributing to these areas.
Mhm.
These are the areas that I love in my life, and like for me, like TV really doesn't give me that same satisfaction or some of the other things. So I think you have to. I like to just find where I want to devote my energy and to really devote my
Mhm.
time, my work, and my energy into those, and I get so much out of it. So there's no substitute for hard work. That's my inner.
Right.
I really like working like that. I
Mm.
like the work, and I call it. I don't like I said. It's not work to me. It's fun. It's
Mhm.
it's challenging. It's exciting. So yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. So.
Mm. So, thank you very much for your hard work being in our show as well.
Thank you.
It
Thanks for
was
having
so
me on.
interesting to hear from you, your story, your interesting thing that you had there. And we hope you will have a wonderful life as you wish. May
Well,
all your wishes come true and enjoy your
thank you. And
life.
if, I was going to say, if you want to follow me, I'm on Jenifer Benson, author, on Facebook.
Of course, we will write everything on the video here. Don't worry, and also it'll be
Okay.
everything ready there. Don't worry.
Yay.
Thank you very much, Jenny.
Hey, and thank you so much for having me on.
Oh,
I
it's
loved
a
it.
pleasure to have you. Also, guys, we always say please subscribe and share the video so other people can hear about our wonderful stories, for wonderful experiences that people have had.